Thanks for keeping me company during our George Brent Marathon. I'm Alicia Malone, and he is TCM's Star of the Month. So we've been diving into all the varied films he was featured in. So far tonight, we've watched a police procedural and an adventure mystery, and now we have a courtroom drama where George Brent stars as a tough lawyer. From 1940, directed by Vincent Sherman, it's The Man Who Talked Too Much. This is a remake of The Mouthpiece from 1932, which starred Warren William. It would be remade once more after this in 1955 with Edward G. Robinson under the title Illegal. The original source material was a play by Frank J. Collins, with Walter de Leon and Earl Baldwin adapting the screenplay. George Brent plays lawyer Stephen Forbes, who, when we meet him, is working for the DA. When that work becomes too emotionally taxing, Stephen starts his own law firm but struggles as he takes on cases that don't pay. Soon, the lure of the mob becomes too great when they offer him big cash to get them out of legal trouble. The cast also includes Virginia Bruce as his smart secretary and Richard Barthelmess as a tough mobster. George Brent wasn't too excited about this project, but he had to say yes to avoid suspension at Warner Brothers. Reviewers were mixed on his performance, but they were happy to see Richard Barthelmess in his role as J.B. Roscoe, even though some thought he was miscast. Barthelmess started in movies in 1916 and would make only 2 more films, and director Vincent Sherman noted that it was easy to see why he had been such a big star for so long. He had a quiet intensity, Sherman said, sharp, piercing eyes, and an expressive, handsome face, and added that at the end of the film he sent me a beautiful wallet. Very nice. Let's watch from 1940. This is The Man Who Talked Too Much. The Man Who Talked Too Much was the third feature film directed by Vincent Sherman, who had started out as an actor. In the late 1930s, he was tapped by Brian Foy, the head of the B-Picture unit at Warner Brothers, to begin screenwriting, and soon after, Foy handed him the reins as director. And it was our star of the month, George Brent, who first introduced Vincent Sherman to Bette Davis. You see, Brent had told Davis all about working with Sherman on our movie, and Davis approached Sherman on the lot, saying, "George tells me that he has never worked so hard or enjoyed himself so much." Sherman replied that the feeling was mutual. He was equally happy working with George Brent and considered him a real professional. Davis then asked Sherman if she could send him the script for Affectionately Yours, which she was planning to star in and wanted him to direct. Ultimately, Merle Oberon starred in that film with Lloyd Bacon directing, but Sherman and Davis would go on to work together on 2 films, Old Acquaintance and Mr. Skeffington. And we're continuing our marathon with George Brent. Up next, we'll see him as a playwright trying to finish his 3rd act, but his ex-wives, current flings, and a snowstorm keep getting in the way. Back soon.
Next on TCM, Snowed Under, then Wings of the Navy, and later, God's Country and the Woman. This land's George Brent's land tonight.